As the film opens, we see a mysterious man entering a van with a package of phones, leaving us to wonder what dark intentions he may have. Meanwhile, a young girl named Nell wakes up in a strange room, disoriented and with no memory of how she got there. The room is empty, except for a strange clock on the wall that doesn't tell time but seems to be tracking something else entirely. Nell begins to explore her surroundings, hoping to find a way out, but she quickly realizes that escape won't be easy. She finds a red rope and her phone, but with no service, calling for help is out of the question. As she paces around the room, she spots a mysterious brown footprint on the floor, left behind by someone who was there before her. Who was it, and how did they escape? But as Nell tries to piece together the puzzle of her captivity, she realizes that she may not be able to save herself. In a moment of desperation, she screams for help, but the room seems to respond with a strange green light before returning to normal. With no other options, Nell turns to the pictures on her phone for comfort, imagining herself in a beautiful place by the ocean. As the film unfolds, Nell's quest for answers becomes increasingly urgent, as she realizes that her life may be in grave danger. As Nell continues to search her phone for clues, she comes across a photo of her closest friend, a pang of longing and desperation welling up inside her. She tries throwing her slippers at the window, hoping to break it and find a way out, but her efforts are in vain. Frustrated and angry, Nell hurls her phone at the wall in a fit of rage, only to be surprised when the impact causes the wall to break apart. Nell sees a glimmer of hope and begins to break the wall further, hoping to find a way out. But to her dismay, she discovers another wall behind it, and the lights suddenly go out. A timer starts counting down from 15 minutes, sending Nell into a panic as she realizes that time is running out. When the door finally opens, Nell's hopes are once again dashed when she discovers another wall behind it. But this time, she notices a ventilation shaft which she ignores this time. As the timer starts counting down from 45 minutes, Nell screams and berates whoever is responsible for her captivity, hoping to elicit some kind of response. To her surprise, a man's voice responds from the ventilation shaft, claiming that they are both in the same predicament. But when Nell asks who he is and why he kidnapped her, the man's responses become increasingly strange and ambiguous, leaving Nell with even more questions than answers. As she struggles to make sense of her situation, Nell realizes that time is running out, and she must find a way to escape before it's too late. Travis and Nell's introduction was far from ordinary. Despite the initial awkwardness, they managed to hit it off, and Travis couldn't help but find it amusing that her name resembled that of a fish. However, things took a drastic turn when Nell decided to put her rope-climbing skills to the test. Travis tried to warn her, but it was too late. Nell fell and suffered a dislocated shoulder and severe headaches. As Travis helped her, Nell began to question if he was her kidnapper, but to her surprise, she found out that he was also a captive like her. As they tried to distract themselves from their dire situation, Nell played her favorite song, and Travis joined in singing along. But their moment of respite was cut short when they noticed an unknown figure watching them. With trembling voices, they talked about their feelings, with Nell confessing to intense anger and fear, while Travis felt as if he deserved to be there. Suddenly, a scream pierced through their conversation, leaving them both frightened and uncertain about what was to come next. Nell's heart was pounding in her chest as she thought that Travis had been killed. But to her surprise, he was still alive, though very weak and unresponsive. Just as Nell was about to lose hope, someone arrived, and it became clear that Travis was seriously ill. Desperate to find a way out, Nell began to search the room for anything that could help them escape. She found a wire in the wall and begged Travis not to fall asleep, telling him that he was all she had in this situation. Travis replied that he was all she had in this place, but she had relatives who cared for her outside. It was then that Nell asked if Travis had lost someone he loved, and the two discovered that they were both mourning the same person, a girl whose photo they found on their phones. As they searched for a way out, the girl noticed an implant in her shoulder that she couldn't remember getting. Time was running out, with only 15 minutes left on the timer, but Nell refused to give up hope. She grabbed the broken handle and started to unscrew the ventilation cover. With each turn, her heart raced faster, and she could hear Travis trying to follow her lead. Nell's heart was pounding as she made her daring escape through the ventilation system. The laser beam had set off a loud alarm and the whole room was now painted in a bright, alarming yellow. Travis was panicking beside her, terrified that their captors would come back for him. With a calm demeanor, Nell set her dislocated shoulder and accidentally broke the strange implant in her arm. As the timer ticked down, Travis began to lose his cool once again. Nell repeated the same soothing words she had used on herself, "You're in a safe place. Look at the ocean." Suddenly, the ventilation covers were unscrewed from both sides, and Nell knew it was their chance to escape. But they had no time to waste. The doors closed between them, and a gun materialized in Nell's room. As caustic gas began to fill the air, Nell thought the gun was meant for her, to put a bullet in her head. But she was determined to fight back. With a fierce determination, she aimed and fired through the window, causing the entire room to turn a bright, pulsing red. Nell knew they had to get out of there fast. With all her strength, she pushed herself through the ventilation shaft, taking every risk and trusting her instincts. And as she emerged on the other side, she realized that Travis had also managed to secure a gun. As Nell emerges from the room, she's hit with a startling realization: there is no night sky, only a synthetic imitation. She's trapped in the great indoors, and her only thought is escape. But something holds her back: her conscience. She can't abandon Travis, who's still stuck in the clutches of their captors. Nell rushes to his window, only to find him clueless about how to break it. Desperate and alone, Travis makes a fateful decision: he shoots himself. Nell is devastated but determined. As she tries to find a way out, an observer emerges from the shadows of the surveillance room, watching her every move. She sneaks into a back room, where she finds a TV playing an advertisement hosted by none other than Travis himself. He talks about a revolutionary robotics company that's creating androids indistinguishable from humans. It's all too much for Nell to take in, and she wonders if her own reality is just a mirage. As she explores further, Nell comes across a picture of a girl from her phone. The guide explains to curious tourists that she's the CEO of the very same company Travis had been talking about. It all starts to make sense, and Nell realizes she's in a world where nothing is as it seems. Nell is deactivated by the washer, and they both later find themselves on the picturesque beach next to the ocean. The observer is revealed to be a standard robot tester who needs to question Nell. However, Nell is still unaware of what's going on and inquires as to why Travis was killed. The worker clarifies that Travis was an older model that needed to be destroyed to test the new model, Nell, under Code 9. This revelation causes Nell to realize that she is not human, which leaves her in shock and unwilling to answer any further questions. Unfortunately for the worker, the tests will have to be restarted due to Nell's sudden shutdown. This is where the movie concludes. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again tomorrow.